This video is to give you some ideas on how you can do student collaboration with Google Slides. So even in our current situation, whether we are, virtual instruction or NTI or even just social distancing, sometimes it's hard to have group work like we were used to in the past. So Google Slides is a great way to still kind of get that collaboration feature that is so important with students, but still, be safe or be virtual or be distant. So, a couple of things to start off to help you when you're doing this is you're going to need to change your share settings. So, step one is just make sure that you are not restricted and that you have changed the link to at least Marshall County Schools. That way, all the students can have access to it. If you want to go ahead and just make it to anyone with the link can edit, that will be fine also. But that's the first thing you need to do. The second thing you need to do is change it from viewer to editor. That way, the students can all have editing rights to the Google slide. So, those are just a couple of reminders to make sure that everybody has access. So one thing that you can do, I sometimes forget that Google Slides is, even a presentation tool. I use it for almost everything except as, what we would call a PowerPoint presentation, but you still can use it for that, right? So if you have a group presentation that you want a group of 3 or 4, Google Slides is the best tool for that. There is equal access for everybody. So all of our students, have a Google Drive. They have the Google tools. Some of them might not have PowerPoint. And also you can't collaborate in real time on PowerPoint. So Google Slides is the answer to that. You have real-time collaboration. I do recommend establishing some norms, just like you would in your classroom anyway. Just, making sure that everybody does their part, everybody communicates, and everyone, has equal kind of, participation and responsibilities with the group presentation. So you can still do those in our situation. Just use Google Slides. It'll answer a lot of your questions. Another thing I love to do collaborating with Google Slides is like a peer editing, revision, review, whatever you want to call it. And I first want to kind of say that peer editing to me sounds like something that you would do in your English class, but it's not just that. I use that in my marketing classes. I've used it in my computer classes before. And really, it's anything that the students create or write or have to share, and other students can add their suggestions to it. So, an example in my marketing class, we were creating some brand advertisements for a brand new product the students were inventing. And so they had to name their product, and I had all the students suggesting names. And, we did a peer review first to see how the name would be accepted. And we used something like this. So you can assign a slide to each student. So each student, one might be number 3, number 4, or you can let them choose. I usually let them choose, but it's up to you what you want to do. And they'll just, each have their own slide, put their name on it, insert their work, and then use the comment feature, the other students, to add their compliments, suggestions, or corrections. I also would take a minute to explain your expectations with these. Of course, making sure they're positive, making sure they're constructive and helpful. Just kind of make sure the students understand your expectations with these. But the comment tool is here on your toolbar, the little plus sign inside the speaking icon. I'm not sure what that's called. It's got a name. I just can't think of it right now. And then a comment box will pop up on the side. And you just put your ideas in there and you comment. And then if someone else would put their comment on there. I do want to encourage you to make sure that everybody's work gets edited and revised equally. Otherwise, they're only going to edit their friends or just the first one they come to. And then whoever the poor soul is, slide 30, nobody's going to see their work. So one little trick I like to do is, let's say you're having students comment on 4 other students' work. So I would do the 2 above you and the 2 below you. So let's say you are at slide 4 is where your work is. Then the 2 above you, you would comment on 2 and 3, and then 5 and 6. And then that way every student has 2 comments because everybody, is at least 2 people away. If you're at the beginning or at the end, use the around the horn rule, and everybody gets commented on equally and revised. So anyway, that's an example. I love that feature. And don't forget the comment feature, so handy. There are many more ways that you can use Google Slides to collaborate. I like it for shared graphic organizers. You can, put whatever your favorite one is on here. My favorite is the Frayer model, but you can choose your favorite. And all the students have a chance to fill in a graphic organizer. Then you have really a student-created study set. So if you are, all these kids are putting their ideas, it's almost like a shared notes, and they get to collaborate with everyone else. I also like it for assigning chapter or section experts. I've done this several times before. Let's say you have a chapter that you're currently going over in your class and it's broken into sections. I would assign each student like, okay, you're become an expert on whatever is in section 1, and you become an expert on whatever is in section 2. And then I would have them share to the class what they learned. Well, you can do that in Google Slides, and the kids don't even have to speak in front of the class like I used to make them do. They just create a slide, put the important concepts, the important terms, the important, whatever. I've even had kids come up with a question that might be on the test from your section. And you can do just all sorts of things like that. But then the students are for sure learning their section, but then they have, again, this shared study set over your entire material. I love it for brainstorming ideas. Students can have their slide and you give them a prompt and they just throw brainstorming, or everybody brainstorms on the same one. That's also a great idea. I love it for resource sharing. You can, again, give students a prompt and they come back adding different resources they find responding to your prompt. The ideas are really, limitless. Whatever you want to come up with, you can do with Google Slides. So I have a couple tips and tricks to just to share with you here at the end. I love, again, my graphic organizer idea. And if you set it as the background of the slide, it's immovable. The kids can just put text boxes on top, but they can't really mess with your background. So I'm going to show you really quickly how to do that. So on just a blank slide, you would go to background and choose image. And I already have mine saved as a picture. So I'm going to go to upload and then browse. And I love Frayer models, so I'm going to choose my Frayer model and open it. And now my Frayer model is the background of this slide. So this is immovable. The kids can't change these words. If you wanted your term already set in there, you could do that before. And then they can just add text boxes and type and add their definition to this, or an image representation. They can just, paste their picture right here. So I love using the graphic organizer as the background. Just make sure that you save your graphic organizer as a picture first. And then the last thing, and I use this one a lot, is you can change the size of your slide. This size that you see is the default size, but you can change it to the size of a piece of paper if you want to do that. If you have something specific like a graphic organizer that would normally take a whole sheet, you can just change the size of this slide. So to do that, here are just the super short instructions. You go to File, Page Setup, and then Set Custom. So you're going to go to File, scroll down to Page Quit. Thank you. Page Setup. And then you're going to choose Custom. And then, if you wanted the size of a paper, you would do 8. You would do 8.5 by 11. I'm not going to hit apply because it's going to make everything really wonky for me. Actually, I will. It doesn't matter. And there you go. Then my pages are the size of a sheet of paper. So it's really awesome. One of my favorite things in Google Slides. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to help you. If you come up with some great ideas, I'd love to see them. Stuff like that, love to see. Thank you, guys.